Hey dear fashion bosses, how are you doing today? Good to have you in class today. So in today's tutorial, we'll be learning how to make this beautiful 3-in-1 bubu. It has a rope you can use to fit it along the under bust area. You can ruche it in front, like as you can see in this picture. It's also a butterfly, and then you can choose to leave it freely like that. It's all encompassing, okay? So if this is what you like to learn, please stay to the end of this class and do not forget to subscribe if you are a first time viewer on this channel. Tap on the subscription button and do not forget to tap on the notification bell to get notified each time we drop video. And if you are a returning subscriber, we say thank you for always stopping by. We love and appreciate you. Please kindly subscribe, like, and share, okay? So we're on our cutting table now. This is our regular routine. We folded our fabric into four. We are going to measure our neck circumference right now. So we are doing a width of 3.5 inches. Okay, 3.5 inches, and a depth for the front panel of 9 inches. So please kindly know that it's going to be a V neck line. That is why we are using 9 inches for the front panel, and then for the back panel we are using a 1.5 inches for the back panel. Okay, so I'm just going to connect my front neckline. Okay, after marking my back neckline, I'm just going to connect the front neckline with a slight curve to give me the V shape like you can see me do right now. Okay, all right, so I'm actually cutting the back and the front together. So after getting the front neckline, I'm going to curve my back neckline. That is what I'm doing right now. So the next thing for us to do is to measure from our center back to the point of our hand where we want the sleeve to get to, like you can see me illustrate. So I want it to get to somewhere around after my elbow. Okay, so whatever I have, I just place it, along the neckline or the shoulder area. Okay, and then I will take my armhole. So I'm using an armhole of about 11 inches. Okay, that is what I just rolled out right now. So when taking the armhole or the sleeve opening, I'm also taking my bust point into consideration. My bust point for this project is 12 inches. So I'm trying to also make sure that my bust does not show, okay, from my sleeve area. So after doing that, I will measure my bust point, measure my waistline. That is what I'm doing right now. So I'll measure my hip line, that is from my shoulders or from the starting line of this garment, which is the shoulder line. I'm going to measure to my knee line. That is after measuring my hip line, shoulder to hip, I will also measure my knee line, that is from shoulder to my nail line. That is what I am doing right now. Okay, so after achieving all of those line, I will come to this other parts of the garment and also duplicate the line so that I can get a straight roll when I try to draw a straight line. Okay, I want everything to be properly aligned and well straightened. Okay, that's what I'm doing right now, just trying to replicate the same line on the other parts of the garment. So after doing that, I'm going to use my ruler and connect those lines, thereby giving me a straight line. Okay, that's what I'm doing right now. If you've watched this video up to this point, please do well to like, share, and subscribe. If you have any confusion or any concern, please do well to drop your concern, which is your question or your comment or your contribution, on the comment section below. Okay, just trying to make sure that my lines are proper. Okay, or my measurements are proper. Okay, just confirming my measurements basically. All right. So the next thing for us to do right now is to impute our circumferences. That is to say your bust divided by 4. your waist divided by 4, your hip divided by 4. So I'm going to do my bust divided by 4 right now. And then I will impute whatever I got. And then I will add ease allowance to it. You can use between 1 and 3 inches. It all depends on how fitted or how free you want this garment to be on you. After imputing your actual measurement, you go ahead to impute between 1, 2, and 3 inches. It depends on how fitted or how loose you want the garment to be. So I've imputed for my waistline, my bust line, my waistline. I'm now imputing for my hip line. So my hip divided by 4 plus the amount of inches I want to add to it for ease. Okay. So whatever I have on the hip, I also brought it to the knee line. Okay. And whatever I have on the knee line, I brought it to the hem of the garment, which means the length of the garment. And then from the knee line, I'm going to slant with a slanty line to the hem of the garment. Like as though you want to do an A shape. I'm actually drawing an A shape line from the knee line to the hem of the garment, thereby giving it a very beautiful shape and then a lot of opening and wideness around the bottom area of this garment. Okay, that is what I did. So I'm trying to connect my lines from the knee to the hip, from the hip to the waist, and from the waist to the under bust. Okay, I'm just trying to make my lines the chalkboarding so that you can see it properly. Okay, you can see the slanted line from the knee to the hem line. The hem is the length of the garments. Okay, so I'm measuring to confirm my length properly from the shoulder line to the length of the garments. The length of the garments means where you want the garment or the bubu to get to. Okay, hope you understand that. Okay, so I'm just trying to confirm my measurements. My table is not as lengthy as the garment, so I have to be pushing upward and downward, okay, to get the parts that I have to work with as part-time. Okay, so having gotten this, I'm going to connect this with a straight rule. So that is where the length of my bobo is going to get to. Okay, so the remaining parts of the fabric we are going to cut out. Okay, so I'll just connect properly again from my knee line to the length of the bobo. Okay, so that's my A shape line will open properly. Okay, if you don't want it to be an A shape at the bottom, you can just connect from your knee line down to your hem line with a straight roll. Okay, you don't necessarily have to make it an A line at the bottom part. Hope you understand this. So to determine how wide you want the bottom part to be, you can use between 17 and 20 inches. Hope you understand, because already your hip is falling around 11, 12, 13, 14, given the amount of inches you added for ease. So you can just make the bottom part between 17 and 20 inches, okay? So I'm connecting it properly. I also want my chalk to be well pronounced so that you guys can see this properly, okay? So basically, guys, we are almost done with the chalking of this garments. So after this chalking part I'm doing right now, we are going to cut it out, okay? And then continue. So you can see me cutting this out right now, okay? We are just cutting along the lines we've drilled and measured. So I'm trying to make my lines pronounced. So I'm done cutting. I'm going to, you know, turn it, fold it, you know, inwardly like you can see me. Fold it this way like you can see me do. The reason why I'm doing this, I want the roll, the shaping we have, you know, on the one side of it to reflect on the other side. Don't forget, we are cutting, we are this chalking we are doing is on the right is on the right part of the fabric, not the inner part of the fabric like we used to do in other projects, okay? We are sewing on the right parts of this fabric. That is the way we make this butterfly bubu, okay? So I just want my chalk to reflect on these other parts properly. So I've folded and I've beat it a little if there is any such word like that. So I'm just going to flesh out the lines, you know, on it. That's what I'm doing right now. So I'm just fleshing it out properly. So I'm still trying to flesh it out properly, following the lines that has already appeared. I want to make I will use the chalk, you know, to make it very visible. So here we are. Yes. So here we are. You see everything is properly shaped out, you know, on both sides, because you are going to sew on that line that you know, you just fleshed out, that or that you used to shaping the bubu, okay? You are sewing on that line. So it's advisable that your chalk is very visible so that you see the parts you are sewing. You can see the shape, the hip, the waist, you know, and all of that. So after doing that, I have to fold it back this way so that I can cut out my front neckline and the back neckline, because we've not cut it out before now. Okay. So I cut out, and then I pull the inner one inside, which represents the back panel, so that I can cut out the front neckline without interfering with the back panel. Okay, you know how we do these things, right? So if you've watched this video up to this point and you've not subscribed, you're not being fair to this channel. Please do well to subscribe, like, share, and give it thumbs up. Okay, it doesn't cost you a thing, please. So we've cut out the front neckline and then the back neckline, and then this is what we have. Just trying to open it up so that you see it properly. Okay. So after spreading it out this way, I'm just going ahead to notch that neckline so that I know where my neckline starts from and ends. So, and then I will use my bias to tape the neckline properly. You can choose to cut a facing for it, but I'll just rather use a bias to, tidy it up, okay? And then you sew on this line with a tight stitch, okay? You just sew on the line, follow the line, and then you sew on it properly. So the next thing for us to do, okay, so I mentioned that I'm using my bias to tidy up the neckline. So after doing that, before doing that rather, I have to fold it, this way again, because there is a slit in front of the garment or in front of the bubu. So I'm just going to measure where I want the slit to get to. I actually used 18 inches from the down of the bubu to the point where I want the slit to get to. For me is 18 inches. So guys, you go ahead and determine yours, okay? After doing that, I'm going to come to the bottom of the bubble, come in by 1 inch, okay, and then I will connect it with a slanted line. From that 1 inch, I came in by to the point where I marked out as the length of the slit, and then I'm going to cut it out like you can see me illustrate right now. So, and then I'll use my bias to also tape this part, okay? So I am done taping the neckline with my bias, and then I also tape, the slit in front with the bias. So the next thing for us to do right now is to create a casing, because there is a ruche, okay? A rope on the inside that when you pull, it will give you the drapes in front, okay? So we are going to create the casing. So I have this little piece with me measuring about 2.5 inches, okay? And then I folded both side with 0.5, 0.5, and then I ironed it properly. Okay, it's measuring 2.5. So I folded with 0.5 inch on both side, and then I ironed it properly. And then this is the inner part of the bubu. I measured a straight line on the center front, okay? This is to guide me so that my casing is straight and not, dancing left and right, okay? It is very straight. So I just followed this straight line, okay, on the center front, okay? And then I'm just going to place my casing this way. I will pin it down, okay? I will pin it down from the neckline, okay? You just come down by like 1 inch, from the neckline. You pin down, or you first of all sew on the inner part like you saw me show right now, and then you fold back and sew, or still you pin both sides down and then take it to your sewing machine and sew it down. You are doing this only on the front panel. Do not allow it to interfere with the back panel. You see how it is lined? That is the same way you will sew it. And then I've created my rope, okay? Is a bias. I just fold it and then a very long bias, and then I sew it the way we usually do. So I am done sewing my casing. This is the front part right now. I've turned it inside out. This is the front part, and I'm about to show you the inner part so that you see what the casing fabric look like. This is the casing that we just done sewing, okay? So the next thing for us to do right now, I have my rope, I created from my bias. I grab my pin, my safety pin. I just insert it this way, and then I'm going to insert it into the casing. Please kindly note that after sewing your casing to your fabric, you will sew the middle of the casing. You will run a straight stitch on the middle of the casing, thereby dividing the casing, making it two different holes, okay? And then you insert your rope this way. You can see me show you. like this. You bring it out, on the upper part, and then insert it on the other side of the casing that you have divided with a straight stitch. Hope you understand this. Okay. And then you keep it inserting. It will now come out at the bottom of the garment. Okay. Like you can see me show you right now. Okay. So this is the neck area, the upper part. So when you pull out the string on the first hole, you now poke your pin into the second hole, and then you pull it down at the bottom. Okay, that is how to insert the string or your ruched rope or your draped rope. So this is what we have. I'm going to turn it inside out again. Okay. So I've turned it inside out, and then I'm trying to arrange it so that I can drape it with the rope or ruched it with the rope. Okay. We are almost done with this project, guys. It's very simple. So this is the rope. So this is how you pull it. Howbeit, I'm going to show you, on a short video on how to wear this garment. So this is how to drape it with the rope. Okay. So this is the belt that we are going to have on the inner parts of the garment that you are going to use to fit in it around your waist area or your under bust. I have two of it, one to the left and one to the right. Okay. So I measure from my shoulder to my under bust. Okay, because I want my rope to be around my under bust. You can choose to put it around your under bust or on your waistline, whichsoever one that works for you is perfect. And then I measure half. I make sure I have half of my waistline. Okay, can see me measure just like the way we usually do our regular shaping, half. Okay, so I mark out that point, and then I use my pin to, you know, identify the under bust line, because I'm going to turn it inside out. I'm going to turn it to the inner parts of the garment, like you can see me illustrate. Howbeit, I've already used my pin to, identify the exact part, so that when I turn it inside, you can see the pin. I am sure that that is the exact place where I want my belt to be. Okay, so I just place my belt, okay, this way, and then I sew it down. Okay, and then I also do the same to the other side. And hey guys, we are almost done with this project. Okay, I place the other belt, on the same exact point, and then I'm just going to sew it down. Okay, so after sewing that, I'm going to come to the hem of the garment, and then I'm going to double fold it, guys. And then, hey, we are done with this project. This is the final look, guys. I'm just going to illustrate to you how to use it, how to put this on. So after putting on the garment, the bubu or the kaftan, you pull it up this way, like you can see me illustrate, and then you use the belt or the rope to fitting it. You just tie it this way, like you can see me do, along your under bust area. Okay, you pull it down. You can see that is well snatched around the tummy and the under bust. Okay, you see how beautiful it is looking. Okay, this is the ruche. You just pull it up this way, like you can see. However you want to decorate this, it is beautiful. Like I said, this is 3 or 4 in one bubu. If you don't want to use the ruche, it's perfect. If you don't want to drape it, it's okay. If you don't want to use the belt, it's okay. You just want it to be free, it's okay. And hey guys, we are done with this project. Please kindly like, comment, and share. Give a thumbs up and subscribe, okay?